The moment he stepped inside Karma's house, he felt as if he'd been absorbed into a world that didn't exist for anyone else. The air carried the soft perfume of something floral and expensive, the kind of scent that came in tiny bottles with French words and a price tag that would make his mother cry. The entryway was warm and glowing, like golden syrup had been poured over every surface. The hardwood floors were polished enough to reflect his shoes, and the walls were lined with framed prints of places he felt he should know, but didn't. Karma shut the door behind him with a gentle click. "Welcome," she said, in a tone that made it sound like he'd been invited to a private museum. "I don't often have guests." She led him through a hallway so immaculate he felt guilty just by existing in it. They passed a small table displaying a collection of ceramic birds arranged in size order, the kind of thing only someone with too much discipline and too much time would do. "I never had children," Karma announced. The statement dropped like a bowling ball into the quiet. "Oh," he said. She nodded, as if confirming the fact to herself. Not for lack of wanting. Life simply made other decisions. You'll see, as you get older. Choices evaporate while you're still pretending you have them. He wasn't sure whether that was wisdom or a confession. "Come," she said. "Dinner." She guided him into a dining room so long it looked like an airport runway. A glossy table stretched across the space, set for two with candles that flickered politely in the center. There was something about sitting at one end of such a large table that felt like a prank. He expected her to sit at the other end, yards away, so he was almost relieved when she took the seat directly across from him. She placed the first course in front of him. Tiny greens arranged with the precision of someone assembling a miniature model village. They began eating. "You know," she said, breaking the silence, "sometimes I do wonder what it would have been like. Raising a child, watching someone grow, guiding someone through their little milestones." She sighed dramatically, the kind of sigh people gave when they won an audience. "Do you ever think about that? About what your mother must have gone through?" He swallowed a leaf. I guess." She leaned in slightly. "I imagine you weren't easy." "Why do you say that?" "Oh, intuition," she said, spearing an asparagus with perfect form. "You have the look of someone who grew on their own schedule." He laughed nervously. "My mom said I was actually potty-trained late." She froze. Her fork hovered mid-air like she had spotted a rare bird. "Oh?" she said gently. "Late, how?" He immediately regretted speaking. "Like 4.5, I think." Her eyebrows rose with academic fascination. 4.5, she repeated thoughtfully. "That's not terribly late." "Not at all. But developmentally interesting." She rested her elbows on the table, listening intently. "Do you remember why?" He shrugged. "Not really. I just didn't care. Other kids were doing it early, and I guess I just wasn't ready." She nodded slowly, her expression turning almost scholarly. "I find that endlessly fascinating," she said. "A child who waits until they're ready, instead of rushing because the world demands it. That shows independence, emotional insulation, perhaps even confidence." "Confidence?" he said, unsure he'd ever associated that skill with confidence. "Oh yes," she said, lifting her glass of wine. "Children who take their time often grow into adults who do the same. They don't rush their becoming." He wasn't sure if that was supposed to be comforting or poetic. She watched him with a softness he hadn't seen before. "Did your mother worry?" "Probably. She worries about everything." Karma smiled faintly. "Mothers do. I imagine she had a hard time letting you grow." He blinked. "She might say the opposite, actually." Karma waved a hand. "Nonsense. A child who takes their time developing always has a mother who hovers." He wasn't sure where she was getting this information, but she spoke with the confidence of someone reading from a textbook only she had access to. She cut another bite and continued almost dreamily. "I sometimes wish I had gone through those stages myself. Guiding someone, teaching someone, helping them, mature." He stabbed a potato with unnecessary force. Yeah, but work, she said with a dramatic flick of her wrist, came first. The university needed me. Fires to put out, dorms to repair, freshmen to shepherd. Suddenly, decades pass, and the rooms upstairs remain empty. She said empty, like it was a personal insult. They moved on to dessert, a delicate little pastry that looked like something elves would bake. She watched him finish the last bite. You really are an intriguing young man, she said softly. Not many people fascinate me. He swallowed hard. Karma stood, collecting the plates. Come along, there's something I want to show you. She guided him out of the dining room and toward the stairs, her heels tapping lightly on the polished floor. As he followed her upward, he couldn't help noticing the echo of her earlier words. I never had children. I wonder what it would have felt like. Children develop when they're ready. Her house was beautiful, but somewhere inside its walls, a quiet longing lived like a ghost. They walked down the stairs together, Karma's heels tapping lightly while he tried not to trip over his own feet. The house felt strangely alive. Every picture frame, every candle, every piece of furniture seemed to watch them pass as if taking notes. Down here, she said, sweeping into the den like a cruise director announcing entertainment hour. The room was cozy, dim, and warm, with a massive TV and a couch that felt like the hotel version of a sofa. Too comfortable for its own good. Karma picked a DVD that sat somewhere between a kid's movie and a midlife crisis memoir. They sat together. She pressed play. The movie was silly, bright, chaotic, cartoon animals with human jobs, musical numbers that had no right being that catchy. Karma laughed, loudly, unexpectedly, throwing her head back like the sound had been stuck inside her all week. He laughed too, and then leaned forward too far. His glass tipped. Cold water soaked right into his lap. Karma paused the movie instantly. Oh dear, she exclaimed, half laughing. A little accident. He groaned, grabbing the towel she handed him. It's just water. I swear I didn't. She waved off his panic. Your poor mother must have hated cleaning up after you when you were younger. He froze, and then, because his brain always malfunctioned at the worst possible moments, he blurted, Well, actually, not really. Karma raised one eyebrow with gentle curiosity. No? He exhaled, already regretting everything. She made it easier on herself. Karma leaned forward slightly. How so? He swallowed. She put me in overnight. Protection, like the heavy-duty stuff. For older kids. Karma nodded thoughtfully. Very practical. He winced, cheeks burning, and then he added quietly, kind of like a diaper. The words came out small, thin, apologetic. His face twisted into the most painfully embarrassed expression he'd made in years. Eyes half closed, shoulders hunched, mouth pulled sideways like he'd bitten a lemon. Karma didn't laugh. She didn't tease. She simply tilted her head, her voice warm and almost motherly. I see, she said. That must have been incredibly difficult for you. He nodded, still mortified. Yeah, it was. How long? She asked gently. 15. He mumbled. Karma absorbed that thoughtfully, not with pity, but with an almost academic respect. The kind someone gives a person who survived something quietly lonely. Thank you for telling me, she said. And she meant it. He didn't know what to say back, so he just nodded, clutching the towel like it was some kind of emotional shield. Karma picked the remote back up. Shall we? She asked. He nodded again. And when the movie resumed, something unspoken and strangely soft settled between them. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Mommy Sarah's Story Time. If you enjoyed the stories, please support the channel by liking and subscribing. Remember, my channel is not monetized, and I write most of the content myself. On occasions when I don't, it's sourced through emails from trusted contacts. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you're able to, consider making a donation to support our channel. Your support means a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more stories with you.